And we're live. So where are they now? I'm here with Aaron Brunn, right here from Morden, Manitoba. I saw you looking at your phone there. How is your playoff pool doing?
Not too good, honestly. I mean, I think all the wild cards are going home in the second round, so my pool is done as soon as Tampa Bay lost, so not good.
Yeah, I was hearing that from a few people, just totally messed up, but what can you do? But anyway, so Aaron, you're from here, from the area, midget, and even a couple years junior. So we're going to go back to your time with the Pembina Valley Hawks, midget hockey. What would you say did you learn then that you still use now? Now that you're in Manitoba, or sorry, you're no longer Manitoba junior, but back now in junior hockey.
I think when I was in midget with the Hawks is probably when I learned I realized I wasn't going to grow anymore, so I think that's where I learned how to use my size and really trust my feet, stay on my feet as long as possible, and make the shooters, react before I do. And that's obviously something I still use today because, I didn't grow very much. So I think, just that was the biggest thing, just learning how to stay on my feet.
Yeah, it's kind of when you midget, when you know how big you're going to be and how blessed you're going to be. So you were called up in the 2015-2016 season for a single game, and then the next season you weren't called up at all. Of course, that's up to the Pembina Valley. No, sorry, that was up to the Flyers. Did something like that, is that normal, or were you kind of disappointed when you weren't called up the following year?
Well, I think when I got called up, I was only 16, so for me that was really exciting, and they had a goalie that was injured, so that's why I was able to get called up. And then the next year I was disappointed, not to get a call up. I was hoping to, be there full time, and, it didn't work out. But I think it just honestly depends on injuries and the health of their players, and when guys go down. And, they were fortunate, obviously, that their goalies stayed healthy. So, I stayed in AAA, and I think looking back, that was probably the best for me. I didn't have to miss any games there, and I was just able to play as many as I could.
And you actually went on to be first team All-Star that next year. How did that feel, being the best in Manitoba?
It was an honor. I was really surprised when I was given that. We had a really good team, so that helped, and great D-core, great forwards. We kind of fell short of our goal that year, so to be given that award, I was truly honored. But I think I was also really thankful my teammates and my coaches giving me the ability to play. So, it was a true honor, but couldn't have done it without the guys.
Yeah, and then you're picked up by Winkler Flyers. Was it kind of exciting that you only had to go to the town over to play your first year of MJHL, or were you kind of like, I want to go out somewhere else?
I think it was exciting. Growing up, I've always watched the Flyers and idolized a lot of those guys. So it was exciting. And I was really excited and glad I was able to do that. There was obviously a little bit of nerves just being from here and having a little bit more pressure on me, but it was, in the end, it was a good thing.
Now then you went from Winkler, you're actually out in Nova Scotia now. After some pretty decent stats here in Winkler, was the move kind of a shock to you, or did they kind of talk to you, say, hey, this might be happening?
It was, I probably went like 3 weeks without, playing, so I was really looking at everything, and when they phoned me out there, I was really just ecstatic to, get the chance to play again. So there was a lot of nerves, and, oh my goodness, I'm moving halfway across the country. So, but it was exciting. I was really thrilled, and, it ended up being a really good place.
Yeah, and, here in Canada, you think about the move. You're coming from the dead center and you're going to the extreme coast. That's almost the width of Europe, so people from other countries don't really understand just the difference. What do you think is probably the biggest difference just living there versus here?
The ocean, probably. It wasn't as cold either, so when it was really cold here, it was nice and warm there. I was kind of, giving it to my buddies back home, but yeah, it's not as big of a place either. It takes about 4 or 5 hours to drive all the way, from one end to the other. So, but it's just beautiful out there. Beautiful, landscapes and beautiful hiking trails, and the ocean's there, right? You can't beat that, especially for Manitoba. You don't see that too often. So for that experience, I was really grateful.
Yeah, we're joking before about the hills and the water and everything. So Indeed. So now your season didn't end out the greatest out over there. Are you kind of looking forward to next season, thinking to turn around? Do you think it was because of the move or just maybe a weaker team?
Yeah, we were a very young team, and I kind of knew that when I was going there. But they really treated me well, and they give me a great understanding of what their plan is. So they hired a new GM and a new head coach, and he's got a great resume. I think he's really going to turn the program around. Bring in some good players. So for me, I know I'm looking forward to it, getting back there, and I'm hoping that every guy's a little older this year and more mature, that we can build off that and bring in some older players and obviously have a better season.
All right, so this is where are they now? And now you're in Nova Scotia. What do you think after your junior career? Where do you see yourself?
My goal has always been to play college hockey, whether it be U Sports in Canada or NCAA in the States. So, that's really what I'm going for this year. Trying to send out some stuff to schools and just get a look and try and get an offer down there to help cut some of the costs of going to school and play hockey at the same time. So that's the end goal after this year.
All right, well, thanks for being on, Aaron. I'm Kevin Larson here with ASTV. Stay tuned.